I had to go through counseling in 2013 for residential schools. It was being offered, and it was so difficult because I think I felt at the time, you know, I was holding on to many of the issues of residential school. I couldn't talk to nobody about it, the sexual abuse or physical abuse. And so I went for a year and a half of counseling with Frank and Duncan, one of the counselors there, and we got near the end of my counseling session, and he says to me, "Well, I think you should write a book." And I looked at him and I said, "I can't write a book." I said, "I can't write." He says, "Well, I think you can." And that's where it started. So in the book, that in my writing, I really felt, as difficult as it was, I thought, I have to be direct with myself. I have to be honest, and I have to let anyone know, if they want to know or if they want to learn about our people, what difficulties we have. And I think specifically, you know, a lot of our people are still in trauma yet, and a lot of our people are in difficulties. So that is what I've had to deal with, and so many of the issues. And I try to write it, and I'm sure, I'm hoping you will learn later on in my writing about how honest I was and about each issue. And it could have been marital, it could have been with my children, it could have been with what they call triggers. You know, we get triggers, and sometimes when I see Catholic nuns or priests in their black garb and stuff, I get very triggered, and it really hits me pretty hard. And I find even red brick buildings, you know, because our building was 4 stories over the residential school, and it was 4 stories high, and it was bright red, and people would always come to the island. They'd say, "Oh, what a beautiful building." And they were visitors just coming to see the island, and they would come to see the priests and the nuns and stuff. And I look, and why is somebody calling it a beautiful building? And when I think about it, it's harbored a lot of pain in the lives of our people. One of my friends, he passed away. He was about 78 years old, and he got the residential school only 5 years old because he could only speak our Hulkaminam language. So one of his friends was over at the next desk, and he started speaking to the young boy next to him. He was saying, "Can you tell me, where is the washroom? I need to go to the washroom." And he was speaking our language. And then the Catholic nun was teaching. She kind of looked over, and she heard him speaking the language. She went over and grabbed him by his ears, and she shoved him into the closet. And she said, "You're not allowed to speak that language here. If you're going to be in my class, you've got to speak the English language." She said, "I don't think we should be holding anything in our hearts. We shouldn't be holding it and trying to hide it away, because it makes us unhealthy, and it makes us really sad, and it makes it very difficult in our lives, because some of our people end up getting into drugs or alcohol, or they may become very abusive because they were abused as children, physically abused, and they lash out and they hurt family and stuff. So I'm really hoping that what I share will help even our people to face to face what they have in their lives as a survivor and make changes to be healthy. I really feel that, and I can see it when I look. I've been to a few what they call gatherings of our people when we have celebrations in our community, and what I'm noticing is a lot of our younger people are starting to dance. They have dance groups, they have drumming and singing. And a lot of them are starting to wear their cultural pieces that they have, paddle jackets and things like that. And they look very proud, you know, they are very happy. And it warms my heart, because at one time Canada and all the churches at one time banned our culture, they banned our language, so I'm happy to see our young children celebrate and be happy and do their dancing and their singing. So I think that will strengthen their lives and bring them back to their culture, is where I think is going to bring a revival for our people, is when we start moving back into our culture, when it's such a big part of our lives. I think it's something that our people have had to live with for such a long time. A lot of our people have been criticized by people from the other countries, and you know, they always say, oh, there's those lazy drunk Indians, no good for nothing. They're just drunks. They don't do nothing. And I am very, very sincerely honest in what I said, that it is my hope that by sharing what I have will change their minds. Because a lot of our people are still living with trauma, because, like I was saying, the residential school system ran from such a 1800s, and the last one closed in 1996, and it affected over 150,000 children in Canada. I'm really hoping that the non-Indigenous people will learn that we've had to deal with so much to survive. I worked over the last 7-9 years with a cultural elders group, and we do workshops, and I think we've done over 17,000 people in our workshops, anywhere from 40 to 120 people at a time. And we talk about pre-contact, contact, and the changes that occurred specifically around residential schools, and a loss of land, and the loss of our language, and treatment we've had to deal with, because we used to have to go on the ferry, and our people had to ride on below the car deck. We weren't allowed up in the lounge area. We weren't allowed to go eat, or we couldn't go up there at all. Or if our people had to go to the movie in Duncan, they had to sit up in the balcony area. They weren't allowed down in the regular seating. And a lot of the restaurants never served our people food. The only ones who served our people was the Chinese people. So our people went to a lot of the Chinese restaurants to eat out. So, you know, it's those things that people have to learn, is what we've had to deal with as a people. What Dowdy did was very hurtful to me, and I think it affected every area of my life, no matter what. It affected my relationship with my 3 sons, with my wife, and with people in general. I didn't feel very happy, and I didn't feel very I don't know, I didn't feel very secure in my life. So I really felt that I have to be very honest with myself, and I felt it's best just to stay away from people. It's okay. Open your eyes, stand up and look around. Your friends are gone, and much of your family, with flashing memories in your mind, with beautiful thoughts of bygone days we shared together, laughter, tears, good times and bad. They are gone into the spirit world, but remembered and deeply loved, remain treasured in our hearts. They are no longer in pain, not suffering today. They want you to be happy. Don't be sad. Residential schools are gone. They no longer exist but in your heart. Breathe in and let it go. Heal your body and your mind. Find yourself and move on as a proud First Nations person. Learn your history, your language, connections to the land and to the water, the sacred medicines. Your family need you and your people too. Grandchildren look up to you, needing your love and support. Love yourself as you are special.